is a great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to SimWorld. Today, I'm B-Ron. Alongside me, as always, for another glorious morning, is my co-host, Yells. How you doing, man? Good morning.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Sun shining. It's good and bright, and we got some SimWorld news to talk as always. So it's a good morning.
As always, yes, sir. We got some big news to start the day, actually, because last night there was talks about Cooper Flag possibly joining some more prep, and maybe his brother as well, Ace Flag joining some more prep. And here's the kicker on that whole thing too. The rumors are they're possibly going to the OGs.
Look,
And last season they had DJ Wagner. So it's crazy to see that Cooper and Ace Flag are possibly going there after DJ left this past season. So like initial thoughts on all of that, because honestly I'm not familiar with their games like that. I'll have to do
boo.
some
Come on,
looking
B
into
Ron.
them,
Come on, B Ron.
but yeah. I've heard good things. I've heard good things. I'll leave it at that.
Hey, the OG SimWorld Preps ready to raise the flag. Cooper Flag is a baller. I think his brother is probably more of a pure basketball player than he is. Ace, I'm referring to, but Cooper Flag, all the lights, all the flash, all the hype, all the stuff that everybody's looking for in this era of basketball. So I think it's not only big for the OGs if he goes there, but obviously it's big for SimWorld Prep. But I also say this: we did see Bronny. Unfortunately, he had to step away last year.
Yeah.
We had Bronny. We saw DJ Wagner. We saw Mackenzie and Baco, Keon Anthony. And dare I mention Mikey Williams at one point in time also. So
We can. Yeah.
SimWorld Prep has put its stamp on it. It is the destination. But I'll also say this: it's given a lot of shine to a lot of kids that otherwise weren't seeing that national attention, because prep ball doesn't work like that. You generally
Right.
there's only maybe 2 to 5
One or
guys.
two.
Yeah, maybe one or two, but sometimes there may be 5 guys that are known nationally like that, but you're just known in the area that you're known in. So SimWorld Prep has really shined a light on national and international, for that matter, just global basketball at the
Yeah.
prep level. So we're seeing a lot of kids, a whole lot of kids out there that we wouldn't normally see, and we're seeing there's a whole lot of talent. So as much as Cooper Flag joined SimWorld Prep, it would be huge. We've seen some other names last season, and more importantly, we've seen more evolving names into the SimWorld Prep arena since it's come onto the scene. So, but nevertheless, as far as your question about how that impacts the OGs, I don't know what's in the sauce down there, but I do know Alyssa Dodge, Coach Dodge, is cooking it up, because people are interested in going to the New England area, which I don't know why anybody would want to do that other than the clam chowder. I'm a big fan of the clam chowder. I can do that all day long. But yeah, she's got it rocking. If he heads there, we were just talking yesterday about them losing star power and bringing in Jay Laster, who fills a role. But Cooper Flag, there's some more star power for you. So I mean, that's my thoughts. But he's a baller, B-Roy. You need to go watch some tape. You need to watch some
Yeah.
tape.
Look, I most definitely will. I most definitely will, because I gotta get familiar. If we're gonna be calling his games, I gotta get familiar with his game. I don't be like Shaq. I wasn't familiar with your game. My bad. I know, but now I know.
Preparation is key, man.
Exactly. We were talking about the names in Similar Prep, and how we got a chance to see a lot of players who normally wouldn't get that shine. Nick Hugo is one of those names, who you probably wouldn't hear about if it weren't for SimWorld Prep.
Right.
So, and we know what he meant to Run DMV last season. There were talks a few weeks ago about him possibly leaving Run DMV. But now that Coach Banks has arrived from H Town, he's there after Myra Murray left to join us here on the SimWorld TV side of things. What's really going on though with all that? Do you think that the talks have cooled down because it's not happening, or it's just that he's keeping his cards close to his chest, as it were? Because personally, I think that nothing there anymore. If the talks were there, but I think that maybe he's had some time to talk with Coach Banks and figure out what his role is going to be in that offense on that team, and he's okay with it. And I think he's going to stick it out with Run DMV. That's just me personally. What about you though?
Yeah, I don't really. I'm not gonna speculate on what's happening again. I feel like I say it every day. There's a major sacrifice, regardless of what these kids want to do. There's a major sacrifice that has to be made by their parents and their families to move them across the country or to to another state or even across the globe for some of these kids that are talking about, I'm playing internationally next year, or I played internationally, now I'm coming stateside. There's a big commitment your family has to make to allow that to happen. There's a big commitment that each team has to make to bring you in. This is finances here. You know what I'm saying? Some of these kids
Right.
don't understand money yet. It's all fun and games, but there's money that's funding these things. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot about
Yeah.
speculating on where I think he's going to go or if he stays, but I will make this point. You have a lot of coaches that coach a lot of different ways, right? They go about their job a different way, and I'll
Yeah.
point some out. You have some coaches, they're going to pull out the clipboard, they're going to get on the X's and O's, and what they're going to do is they're going to draw up the play at the time that the play is needed, right? You got
Right.
those guys that are drawn, they're actively coaching live to get things done. Then you got your other coaches out there. They're like, hey, man, I put together a strategy. Here's how I'm going to get it done. I'll tell you, I'm not going to call no names on those, but here's how we're going to get it done. They really don't do a lot of adapting in game, and the game plays out how it needs to. And if they're unable, if the game needs adaptation, they're not there to get it done. But they are there routinely to set their to prepare their week or their season or their quarter of the season the way they
Right.
want, right? And it's
Yeah.
defined. Then you have your coaches out there who are the cooperative, the collaborative kind of coach when it comes to everything. They're in their locker rooms, they're in their group chats. They're talking to their players one-on-one. They're talking to them as a group. They're like, hey, here's what we want to do. What do y'all see in recruiting? What do you want to do when it comes to recruiting? You got those kind of guys, and they're taking in everybody's info, right?
Yeah.
Then you have the sleuth, right? You have the sleuth,
The
the
sleuth. Yes,
lurker.
sir, we
Yeah,
know
that they
sleuth.
kind of they're moving in silence, like a real G, like Lil Weezy says.
Yeah.
And they're not really saying much to the media. They're staying out of all that drama. But consequently, they're also staying away from their players. They really don't get involved in all that. They're doing the legwork. They're out there recruiting. They're out there watching film, and they're doing all that. But they're not talking to anybody about what they're doing. And generally, those are like the four types of guys you have. But here's what I'm saying, and this isn't a soapbox today. This is just a lesson to the guys out there at the prep level. You're at the root of these guys' love for basketball. You're at the root of their love for SimWorld in general, and you're at the root of their progression. So you can't be one of those four. You can't be two of those four. At bare minimum, you need to be three of those four. And lastly, I'll say that last one that I mentioned that doesn't communicate, can't be that one. That's the
Yeah.
one you can't be. I see staying out of the media. I see not putting your business all the way out there. Maybe you trust if the players are, loose-lipped or whatnot, but you got to communicate because this is prep level basketball. These are young kids with high flighty emotions. 1 minute they feel one way, and literally the next second they can feel the exact opposite. You got to stay connected, checked in on how people are feeling, getting their input, letting them know what you're doing, and all of that. So yeah, you gotta tap into all of that as a coach, in my opinion. So I don't think that anything's really going on in Run DMV is what I'm getting at. But what I do think is for a lot of these teams, the coaches could communicate a little better with their squads.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. You know what? That makes sense. Now I have no qualms against anything you just said. So we're gonna move on to SimWorld Europe, man. We know they don't have Coach Ron Mack anymore. Departed, went to SimWorld Asia Pacific. They gotta figure out how they're going to move forward without Coach Mack there. And again, personally, as I've said before, I don't like how that went about, just because he wasn't there all that long. What was it? A
Get it
handshake and a cup
off.
of coffee or whatever it is?
Oh, handshake and a cup of coffee. Get it off your chest, B.
Whatever.
Ryan. Get it
Not
off
gonna
your chest.
not gonna spend too much time on that. But the fact of the matter is, SimWorld Europe has picked up the pieces after Coach Mack has left them. So, do we even know if they have a new head coach yet?
I'm sure they got
Are they in
something
the
in the
building?
works. Some of these teams haven't been, I'm kind of in the trenches. I know a little info here and there. Some of these teams haven't announced who they're rocking with or who they, all their hirings.
Right.
I'm not sure if they have a coach. I'm sure because all of them have a line of assistant coaches, at least
Assistants,
two. I
yeah.
think they're required to. But who's head coach? I haven't heard anything just yet. Be Ron.
Okay, okay. I just wanted to clarify and make sure there was something we didn't know about yet, you know?
Nah.
But yeah, how do they get started after the Coach Mack era that was short lived? Because they don't have Henrik Vekic anymore too. Lost their star big from last season.
Yeah.
So that's another thing they have to replace too. They still have Tommy Hughes there. Monod still have Leonidas Papadopoulos still there. I'm forgetting some of the kids' names in this moment, but they have those two kids still there. So like they have things to go around, but they need a lot of help.
Well, I
From what I
got you.
understand.
I got you. I got your back on this one. Henrik Vekic is gone, but also is his lack of consistency. So I think you can be consistent now. I was really not impressed with how he played last season. I'm gonna be honest. I don't. If I ever see a man 6'10", 240, or a kid for that matter, no matter how versatile his game is, he'll work on that. But you better be shooting over 50% and playing against these little kids. Come on, man. He shot like 47%. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. All right, so yeah, they bring back my man Leonidas Papadopoulos. He comes back. Tommy Hughes was only 15. He was putting up almost 8 points a game in only 12 minutes. Another big
He's an
loss.
addition for them, by the way.
Yeah. Another big loss for them is Christian Fazakis, who's now gone, who really anchored them in the middle when Henrik Vekic was found lacking. But then let's not forget they got Kenneth Klum, they got Franz Lustig, somebody I was a huge fan of, two of them actually who could get to the rack. And I'll be honest, I don't normally play this game, but I've never seen the Euro guys attack like these two kids, Samuel Kipping and Jose Angel Camacho. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
wanting to see
I
more.
like Kiffin.
So I think you unleash some of the unseen athleticism from this team. So I think they'll be just fine. And then recruiting wise, I mean they're deep out there, man. The money flows a little wider in those international states, those international areas, because the communities pull together, the country pulls together, and they find the finances to move people a little longer distances. Hezekiah Walker, not only is his name cool, but his game is cold. 6'4", 213 out of Marseille, France. Hey, Zoe Dorn,
Yeah,
Guido Parmasini, Michelle Trevaux.
and brother.
Yeah. And then there's a
Guido-
big.
Guido
Oh man,
Parker,
I saw some tape of this big kid out of Russia. I don't, he was playing against like bums. I don't, but what I saw what I saw. Ivan Suslav. Look, man. I don't know what to say. There's some talent out there. I think Europe's going to be just fine. Addition by subtraction, I think they find some consistency without Vikic.
All right. All right. Look, man, hopefully they do. Hopefully they do, because I think that they're one of those teams that look like they had a opportunity last season towards the end there to sneak into the race to one and couldn't get over the hump that they needed at the end. So we'll see what happens this next season with everybody getting into the race to one and what that all looks like. But we're a long ways away from that point in time, though. Sticking with the coaches theme here and how these teams come together, Coach Heesh, he's with Gulf Coast, the new head coach over there, had some strong comments in his first interview with media, and setting the putting a target on his back with his comments. But since then, been pretty quiet on that side of things. But how does he kind of get things going as far as his recruiting and building out his team as well? Him being a new coach and trying to figure things out all on the fly in an off season where he hasn't done this before.
I tell you what, B-Run, you're going to need to get ready to talk because this one's going to fall on you because I feel like I'm going to start beating the drum that I've already beat today. You said it already. You said, hey, he came in hot. He had some big, bold words. That's how
Yeah.
this generation rocks. He's a younger coach, right? He came in and he went straight forward, had everybody like, yeesh, right?
Yeah.
And then he's cooled off and we haven't heard from him, and I suspect his team hasn't either. So recruiting. Recruiting starts with recruiting your own team. We've heard
Yes.
about some things happening and some people leaving. We actually have heard directly that some key pieces from last season are leaving. So what can he do? Recruit your
He's got
team. Bring back
he's
the
got
team you had
gotta
last
replace
season.
those pieces. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You don't even
The
forget replacing those pieces. You should have been talking to them in the first place. Reach back
no,
out
yeah.
to them. See if you can bring them back. The commitment period has not started. Nothing's final. This is all talk, man. This is all talk. Which, some of these people may be verbally locked in, but things can be swayed. Coach Heesh, get on your job, man.
You mentioned it a second ago, having to get those pieces back. One of those pieces they need to get back immediately is Akeem Young. Need to get him back. He's listed at 6'9", 224.
I think he's
You
bigger than
know,
that.
I think he is too. 17 years old. He's from Louisiana. He's from New Orleans.
B-Run, I said I wasn't gonna say much. Look, I gotta add this, but you do your thing. But
Yeah.
I personally think while everyone's talking about Cali, the Calis of the world, and the Floridas of the world, Louisiana has and that Mississippi area, they have like maybe not a whole lot of prospects, but they have like top tier prospects in their recruiting pool. Aside from the ones that were already on the team, like, and half these
Right.
kids are interested in LSU or Ole Miss, and the feeling is mutual. So they want to stay home. How could they not be playing for the hometown prep team? I'm done. I'm
Right.
out. I'm
No,
tapping
you're
on that,
good.
man.
Yeah.
I'm tapping.
So just again, look at the list here. You've got number one recruit in the South region, Tyree Wells, also from Louisiana, Baton
God,
Rouge.
he's a monster.
Yeah, yeah, he is listed at 6'9", 260. Big kid,
I get
but
Zion vibes from him big time.
yeah,
Zion, early Zion Williamson, not the new
not
adult
what
film
we got
star,
now.
not
Yeah.
adult film star and snack guy.
But you got Wells, you got Pierre Dupont. Also again from Louisiana, New Orleans as well. He played for North Africa last season. Decided he wanted to come back stateside. Maybe he joins them. You got again Akeem Young. That's three right there.
Big boys too, all of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Another Louisiana kid here is Adrian Ellis
Adrian
from
Ellis, got to see him
Freeport,
the other day.
Louisiana.
Woo!
Like you said, there's so much talent here, and Coach Heesh, you have an opportunity to get a lot of those kids from Louisiana, where you are, to play for your team. Get them there. Do what you gotta do. Get active. Get your scouting on. Get your recruiting on. Get talking to them kids and get them in there, man, because they want to be there. I think, but you have to reach out and give them the nudge they need to get there.
Gotta talk, man. Gotta talk. I was rooting for you, Coach Heesh. Don't get on my bad side, man. I can say some things. I can get abrasive,
Especially
man.
you might look. I'm gonna say it for you. I think, especially if they're coming in here and talking all the noise and stirring the pot. You can't do that and then not show up afterwards.
Exactly.
You can't do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So come on.
Reminds me of when
Way to go.
Carmelo Anthony ran up on Nate Robinson. Excuse me, not Nate Robinson. That Nuggets fight a while back. That brawl, nasty, ugly little fight. I think it was Nate Robinson, J.R. Smith. Carmelo had some words to say. He snuck Nate Robinson from around the ref and then ran all the way down to the other baseline. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that
No.
guy.
Nah, you don't. But I tell you what, man. You do probably want to be Mar Dom right about now. because apparently he's verbally committed to Lone Star, which is interesting. I like that move for them. But could that drive potentially more Texas Texas kids to go that direction? Not instead of Lone Star, but because Lone Star does need a lot of help to retool after last season, especially with the way it started versus the way it ended. So, got to keep that in mind too. What do you think about that, though?
I
Real
think
quick.
that's a huge pickup for Lone Star. I think the headline was, is this the first domino of many that'll start to fall, or in the long line of dominoes, which I thought was weird because there's only so many dominoes in a pack, man. Everybody knows that. You got to count the dominoes. That's how you win. But yeah, I think Morrow Don. Am I saying it right? I'm big on getting names right. Morrow.
I understand. From what I gathered from his conversation with a guy Elava a few weeks ago, it after his dunk went viral, it's either Mar or Morrow.
Okay, Morrow. I don't want to take too much time about that. What I want to talk about is
Yeah.
his game and what that means for LBC. And it's cold. That man, he's a freak athlete. I think they've been missing a little bit of that. I think maybe he could help boost Nene Gibson's game. Nene can get that soft finesse game that he has going from outside in that mid range, because you got to worry about Mardon. Hey, look, did I just give him a new name? Look, people call him the Don, but I think I'm calling Morrow Dunk. Because, they're going to be worried about Morrow Dunk coming in and putting it on their head, which will
Yeah.
free up some space for them. But then again, he seems to be well liked in the SimWorld prep community. He's highly active. He's engaged with the community, and I think that'll bring some other eyes to play for Lone Star basketball. Let's not forget Lone Star basketball, man. Doug Dobbins down there, the owner of the squad.
Yeah.
And that budget in that arena, it's top tier. So if people wasn't thinking about going there in the first place, eyes are definitely there. And Coach Woods, I think Coach Woods has been fairly active. He'll be a great coach for this team. But Mardon, absolutely one of the first pieces you want to go after. Hometown Texas kid, bring him in and see who else you can bring in. I have some ideas, not going to get into it.
No, look, we can save that for another time, right?
Yep, that damn producer is in our ear
And
again.
produce, man, every time, every time. We love you though, but we gotta go, y'all. Thank you all for joining us on another episode of SimWorld today. We appreciate it. Be back tomorrow with more topics, more discussions from me and the homie Yells over here. We'll see you tomorrow, and don't forget, guys, SimWorld is the only place where you can see the game and be the game. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.